So I think we've had some really interesting conversations today. I think we've only touched the surface, so I'll be interested to see where we go from here almost. And we managed to get onto a long conversation about people who are vulnerable. I don't know, I think it's interesting that we touched so much on vulnerable people, because it almost brings the question of, do we obviously believe somewhere, subconsciously or consciously, that vulnerable people don't feel as they belong in society maybe, or we feel like it's our job to protect them more, which means that we're doing something wrong that isn't protecting the people we are on this planet to protect, which I think is really interesting. I think it's quite sad really that this level of protection isn't, which should be in our human instincts to protect other people who are vulnerable. Why aren't we doing our job almost?
Yeah, I think this whole project is a really good way of kind of like discussing important topics that you wouldn't really talk about in everyday life. Because there's only 3 of us, it's quite like intimate, so it's like nice to hear everyone's side of things. Yeah, something that stood out to me was like when we were talking about things that we would like to change, or like things that would be in our like happy place. Definitely part of like that would be the healthcare systems for me, because I've always grown up with both my parents working in a hospital, and then I've had to work in a hospital when I've gone home as like a job. So I think that's always been quite a strong part of my life. So I think talking about like the flaws and how it affects society, and like how the system is so flawed and how it affects different people in different ways is really interesting. And I suppose coming into this project, I didn't even think that was like something we'd be talking about. So having like something that you can relate to is really nice. Yeah, so today's been really interesting. We explored like the more physical side of things today, and then we introduced our voices, which was really good, something that I'm comfortable doing, so that was interesting. We did our stream of consciousness, which was good, about a place where we belong, and what that means to us. It was nice to see how personal it was for everyone. But we kind of started taking a singular sound and then using the phonetic of that sound to create a movement, and then we used that and then found a word, put that into our movement, and then in the end we got the whole phrase that we all had, which was really interesting, because then we brought it together, and when it became more sort of close and more intimate, it felt like we were kind of communicating as a group.
I find talking and like using my voice really hard, because I'm so used to dancing where you don't have to kind of use your voice. So like when I hear my own voice, it kind of catches me off guard. I think I got more comfortable using my voice like the more I heard it. And I think pairing it with movement does kind of help, because I'm familiar with movement and it's what comes naturally to me. So moving as well as making the sounds, I felt less exposed.
Excellent, good. I know it's hard, isn't it, when you're improvising?
So I think we've covered a fair bit this afternoon. We touched on like care and like communities and how they're like intertwined.
We focused on the words that we associated with care, and then physicalise that, which was interesting as a group.
Yeah, we did our first trio.
And we looked at lullabies as well.
Oh yeah.
Hannah sang for us, which was nice.
And then there was one point where I had to like change the way I sung my lullaby when these two were dancing, and it was like I felt like I was really watching them to see what was coming next. The wonderful thing about tigers is tigers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber, their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, 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 bouncy fun. The wonderful, wonderful thing about tigers is I'm the only one. I'm the only one. But like we've definitely like gelled a bit more as a group.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Ready for to listen to each other? Yeah.
Stuck with each other.
Ready for day 3? What we can
Into
say.
day 3.
Into day 3.
Keep on watching.
Oh. So this morning's been really cool, I think. We did some like vocal improvisation, which we haven't done yet. And I found that I really enjoyed it. It's not really something I've massively done. So I found it quite like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed the experience. Found it easier than improvising physically, like the dance and stuff.
So today we've had a very fun morning. We did some voice work, we did a voice warm-up, and that was really fun. It was kind of what I'm used to as a performer. And then we looked at, we did a paragraph, 3 minutes of writing, uninterrupted writing, and then we looked at what vowels stood out to us, what words and what sentences, and then we used those sounds to create like a piece of, I don't know what you would call it, a piece of music, I'm not sure. So yeah, it was really fun, and I'm excited for the rest of the day.
I quite enjoyed the like little rhythms we made up. I'm still not too comfortable using my voice. I think obviously because that's me, because I'm but when we started doing like the body percussion, that felt a bit more comfortable. And I liked having a range of things available that we could use. Like we could use our voices to make beats or rhythms. We could use our bodies to make rhythms. And I enjoyed hearing Hannah and Lottie sing. So it sounded really good when there was like an underlying rhythm. Like a kind of simple rhythm to start with, and hearing like a melody on top of that was interesting. And I think we got more comfortable as like kind of looked at each other and connected more, kind of listened to the group as a whole rather than trying to focus on making your part really good. It was about kind of just doing what the group needed to sound.
It was our last day today, doing all the filming. It was really fun. We did a lot of like repeating and finessing everything, looking at lots of detail. Hannah came and gave us help with like what our intentions were.
Yeah, I think today was like a really productive day. It was quite tiring, like having to like repeat everything, but like we'd do something really good, but the end wasn't right, so we had to like do it all again. So it was like challenging in that respect, but it was a good final like full day, and we got loads done, and hopefully it looks good.
Something really stood out to me was when we did, you know, the bit with our own words, when I had mistreated and you both had overwhelmed.
Yes.
And then we kind of like abstracted our movement
Yeah.
and we left it, and then when we came back to it there was like an actual storyline that we just didn't realise.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's all come from like our personal experiences and how we view one thing, and because we all kind of take one word like differently, it's kind of developed into something good.
Very organic.
Very. I think at the start I was like worried that it was quite a small group, but I think it's worked well.
Yeah.
We've kind of gelled.
We'll have more screen time.
Yeah.
Funny, but yeah. Smashed it. Done.
Bye.
Bye.
Say
each other right now. Each other right now.